Welcome inside episode 625 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains, and we have a fantastic goalie-friendly interview for you on this holiday Monday.
It's Kevin Mandolese. We finally catch up with him after years, Ross. The last time we spoke to him, he just won Q Goalie of the Year, so we got a lot to catch up on, and it shows with over 40-minute interview with him.
Yes, we talk about his time with the Atlanta Gladiators, recovering from a knee injury, and we nerd out on some goalie gear as well. All that plus DJ Smith has unveiled a little deeper of what he's going to start training camp with when it comes to his defensive pairs. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Monday, September 5th. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube, where the best way you can help the show grow is to like every video. Just click the thumbs up, subscribe to the Locked On Senators channel, and leave a comment below. Subscriptions just hit a nice milestone, 3,500. Let's get to 4K before the season. Let's ride. Tell a friend. Be a friend. And Pilsy, lots of great content to tell those friends about, because not only do we have great interviews on tap throughout this week and next for the Locked On Senators podcast, but the YouTube exclusives, tell them what they can find on the YouTube channel.
Well, we've been doing our Behind the Blog series, and that's been a lot of fun. That's happening on Saturdays and Sundays, the premieres, YouTube exclusive, so go watch those. We just had Sens prospects. We did a prospect pyramid, which was great to kind of... We haven't had Henry on the show in quite some time, too, so it was great to catch up with him and go over all the prospects. Then talk about going back and taking a look at younger prospects. Sens talk when he was just a prospect in the content game. We talk about all the way back when he started posting videos when he's like 10 years old, and watching those videos of him as a kid with a squeaky mouse voice, as he calls it, from now is pretty incredible. That's a guy that's been grinding for a long time. So definitely interesting story to check out with Sens Talk.
And then the recent Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've had our organizational value rankings. They all culminate this week. Tier 2 tomorrow and Tier 1 on Thursday. So stay tuned for all that. But Pilsy, we have to get to a little bit of news before Mando's interview, because DJ Smith discussed yesterday with the Ottawa Sun what his defensive pairs, at least the top four, would look like. We knew Chabot and Zub. I talked about that a little bit on Friday before our interview with Roby Yarventi. But the second pair is now set in pencil, but it's going to be Travis Hamonic getting the first opportunity to play with Jake Sanderson. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when DJ Smith announced that Chabot and Zub are going to be playing together, I kind of already pieced that Sanderson would be with Hamonic, and then I pretty much figured Brandy would be with Holden. And I think this is the right move. Holden, obviously a good veteran shutdown defenseman, but he is getting up there in age, and if he's going to be playing second pair minutes up against other teams' top six, it gets a little tricky, especially when you're playing alongside a rookie NHL defenseman. So I think that makes the most sense. And Pierre Dorion mentioned it when he acquired Hamonic. A big reason why he did that is they didn't like the offseason options, the free agents in the defense market. So he wanted to take care of that problem early and bring a veteran defenseman in and have him get acclimated to the team before all that happened. So he knew he was set in that spot. Not saying that he's not done the search for a defenseman, because it seems like that's still kind of on track here. But to have Hamonic starting with Sanderson, I think makes the most sense for now.
What's he going to allow Sanderson in terms of developing his game at the NHL level?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, when Hamonic was brought over, the trade left a bitter taste in people's mouths. But looking past that and just looking at the player on the ice, Hamonic's a longtime NHL veteran. He's a guy that's always played more of a defensive type game. So to have him beside Sanderson will hopefully allow Sanderson to be the guy that transitions the puck up the ice, that makes that first pass, that skates through the neutral zone, which are all things that Sanderson thrived at in previous levels of competition. So I think that's going to help Sanderson just kind of have his mind at ease, knowing that he won't need to be fully taking on all the defensive responsibilities.
So we know the top pair, at least to start training camp, and we have to continually hammer that home because, wow, things can change in an absolute hurry from the first day of fitness testing till the puck drops on the regular season on that Thursday night in Buffalo. But we know it's going to start with Chabot and Zub, and then Sanderson and Travis Hamonic. And you mentioned Erik Brannstrom's name. He was one of 2 restricted free agents. Not anymore, Pilsy. Breaking news. As we're recording, we see the Ottawa Senators announcing on Twitter that they've signed defenseman Erik Brannstrom to a 1-year contract, which holds an annual average value, and I guess it's easy to find out the average when it's 1 year. He will be making $900,000. Your immediate reaction to the deal?
That is low. I think both of us thought it would pass $1 million value here, but the thing to consider is, and we've talked about this, Brandy didn't have a whole lot of leverage, which is why I kind of thought that this deal would be the first one, quick, easy, tidy piece of business. Ross, my thoughts and assumptions on this is the Ottawa Senators basically went to him and his agent and said, here's your qualifying offer. Take it or leave it. If you don't want to take it, we'll wait. And I think that's what's happened is they gave the qualifying offer. Maybe negotiations were tried by Brandy and his agent. Obviously, those didn't go where they wanted. The Sens stayed firm. And now you got to sign a deal sometime. Otherwise, you're not playing or you're waiting for a trade, which we've heard the trade value for Erik Brannstrom is not high either. So that's not a great strategy for him and his agent. So I think they just went with it. And Brannstrom's got a lot to prove this season. That's for sure.
And despite feeling like he's been in the organization forever, he's actually just coming off his entry-level contract. So he is getting a raise, although not significantly. This is a 1-year, one-way contract. So that means no more ability to stash him in the minors. Although now, as he's turned 23, happy belated, Brandy, turned 23 on September 2nd, so on Friday. But now it's time for him to have to clear waivers if he cannot crack it in the National Hockey League. And you know that the lifetime of first-round picks is a little bit more stretched out than others, where I'm sure another opportunity would come. And we've seen some glimpses, and I need to make sure that I say that there have been glimpses. It's not been all bad with Erik Brannstrom, but he needs to take another step in the right direction. So it's a 1-year contract, $900,000. I thought he was going to get the Mete, the 1-year, $1.1 million deal. Here's what Senators general manager Pierre Dorion has to say. This is from the press release that accompanied the news. Quote, Erik is among our group of young players who we're looking upon to take another step forward this season. He's competitive, has an ability to efficiently move the puck, and showed well when asked to take on an increased role last season. We're hopeful that experience pays dividends for him in the year ahead. I think that's pretty well said from Mr. Dorion.
I mean, Brandy moves pucks.
Yes.
Pierre Dorion is also aware. But where it's interesting is when he said, I forget the exact quote, I got a goldfish brain, but where he said he did well in elevated role. He did okay, but really he should have produced much more as a first-line center, as a guy playing first power play time, getting over 20 minutes a night, and as a guy who is known to efficiently move the puck. So, and if he did so well in that role, why did he only get a $900,000 1-year contract?
Yeah, I don't know. 14 assists, no goals in 53 games, dashed 17. A lot of nights you're pulling your hair out a little bit, Pilsy, when he's defending in front of the net. But I'm hopeful because you know what they say about these shorter defensemen. They've been short their whole life. They've learned how to defend around it. But he does. This last line is crucial. We're hopeful that it pays dividends for him in the year ahead. They're saying that it's still a matter of potential of why they're keeping him around, right? To me, that's what it reads as. Like, he's shown abilities before, but we need it consistently at the NHL level. And this is probably a make or break year. We almost said that last year in terms of getting a large opportunity, because then those prime opportunities will go to Jake Sanderson this upcoming year and beyond. But now if he can settle in to be a fifth defenseman who can move up when injuries come, or when, you need different matchups, you need, like we said, or like we saw last year with Thomas Chabot and him playing together a little bit at the end of games when you need to press offensively. If he can become a situational defenseman this year, I think that's a win. And you're not really risking much with this deal under $1 million. So I'm excited that he's in camp. I think it's crucial, because didn't he miss camp in 2021 with COVID? It was just a gong show up and down. He even played AHL games last year. Like, come to camp, be in Ottawa, be ready to go, and let's get rolling, because this guy, he still has PP upside. Like, he still has the amount of power play experience last year when Chabot was out. Like, some people want him on the top unit this year. Now, just in terms of the hierarchy of a locker room, that's just not happening. You'd have to multiply 900,000 a few times to get to 8 million.
Not math guys.
Not math guys, but we will say that. I'm just glad that he's going to be in camp, because if he missed camp again, he's so far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been pretty negative about Brandy so far, so I'll add some Pillsy positivity to this. There was flashes where he looked great, like you said, when he was playing with Thomas Chabot, when they're really trying to ramp up the offense. I thought they looked great together. Do I want them as a 5-on-5 pair permanently? No, absolutely not. But I think where Brandy really he has to look at this and kind of put a chip on his shoulder. He's got to say, I thought I'm worth more. I waited to try to get a better contract. Didn't happen. If they put him on the second power play unit, he has to thrive. And there's no reason why he can't thrive on that second power play unit, because finally the Sens are going to have 2 competent units. So I think that's a big deal. And one thing I definitely will give props to Brandy with, I thought his defending got a lot better as the year went on. Now, it was a low bar to start, but it did get better, so improvement was shown. And he did a really good job of making those long outlet passes. Like, he was able to hit players in stride and really basically 2-line passes, get the offense going with some really good, accurate tape-to-tape passes. So there's lots of positivity here for Brannstrom. There's lots of potential here, but it may just take a little bit more time. I mean, everyone blooms at their own time, right? And for Brandy, a shorter, younger defenseman, we just need to be patient, I think.
Let's hope he's on the right side on the third pair, with Nick Holden on the left side and then 22 on the outside looking in. That, to me, would be my ideal as we run through it one last time here. Chabot, Zub, Sanderson, Hamonic, Holden, and Brannstrom would be an adequate, as the head coach describes his decor at, an adequate start to the NHL season. But that just leaves Alex Formenton as the lone RFA unsigned. We know that there are extra outside of hockey investigation of the 2018 men, or boys, I should say, U20 World Junior team, and no names have come out. We're not saying he's guilty. We're not saying he's innocent, but I wonder if it will have an impact into if and when Alex Formenton's contract gets signed with the length of the investigation. That Bill Daly said they hope it's done by the start of the NHL season, or completed, not done, but they hope that they have a conclusion. I guess we just wait. And while we wait, I think a fantastic interview to get to is with Mando right now. We probably chit-chat a little bit longer, but when breaking news happens while we're recording, such a blessing. And you know what else is a blessing? Being able to pump up the protein bar, but have it in a delicious fashion. Have you not tried the Built Bar Puffs yet? Why are you depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys? I'm not even exaggerating. The cookie dough chunk puffs might be the best, I almost said candy bar, the best protein bar I've ever had in my entire life. All the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it, and it's healthy for you. Only 160 calories per bar, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built Bar. Don't walk. Run to Built.com right now and snag a box for you and the family. It's a perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and you just hoard them for yourself. Make your family get their own. We'll tell you how and what kind of promo code you can use at Built.com. built.com. Like all Built bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. And when I say puff, it's literally a protein-infused marshmallow. And that's what's great about Built, is that all their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff. I love it. I actually love it. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just to grab a quick bite, Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, the fat, and the sugar, and grab yourself a Built bar. So go to built.com and use promo code LOCKEDON15. That's promo code LOCKEDON15. Promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your next order. What's the promo code? Yeah, it's LOCKEDON15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, let's get to our interview with Belleville Senators netminder. It's Kevin Mandolese. All right, we now welcome back a very special guest. It's been far too long since we've had this man back on the show. The last time was right after he was named Quebec League Goalie of the Year, right before the pandemic with the Cape Breton Eagles. And now he's a part of the tandem for the Belleville Senators. Kevin Mandolese, welcome to Locked On Senators. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. How's the summer going? Where are you? How's the training? What's your day-to-day look like?
Well, my summer's been pretty good. Right now it's a hectic schedule with all the on ice and off ice. On the ice 4 times a week, and in the gym 5 times a week. So it's pretty heavy, but I'm resting up, eating lots, and ready for another season soon.
And you're in Montreal for the summer?
Yeah, I'm in Montreal.
Oh man,
I'm gonna head back soon, and next not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Montreal in the summer is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice. We have a lot of nice spots, like as like downtown Montreal. You have like all the lakes outside of Montreal, so it's fun times, that's for sure.
Who's on your training team? Do you have a little group that you guys go out on the ice with?
Well, on the ice, this year we've been pretty lucky. We had a lot of guys, a lot of pro guys. We had Josh Anderson. We have Nicolas Meloche. We have Marco Scandella. We have Will Carrier. We have a lot of like good prospects. So we've been pretty fortunate. We also have skates like Nick Suzuki comes here and there. Chris Letang. So there's a good group there skating with us. So no, it's definitely a good shots, and it's a good pace too.
I'm just glad to hear that you're back on the ice. We know you missed the end of last season with a knee injury. You're 100%. You're ready to go for rookie tournament?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. That was a hard one to take when that injury happened, but no, I'm happy to just be skating again and be able to play hockey. I missed it for a while.
Was it? I mean, we talked with Angus Crookshanko. I'm sure you maybe even did a little bit of rehab. It was his knee as well. And he said when you're away from it, you realize how much you miss it. Is that even motivating you more this upcoming season?
Oh, for sure. I can't even imagine what Angus went through to miss the entire season. I missed 2 months and I was going crazy. So he's done an unreal job of dealing with it. But yeah, it's definitely made me even more eager to come back and play and not to take things for granted, right? Like it's stuff can happen really quickly, and you got to enjoy every game, every practice, right? So, but no, I'm excited to come back and play and hopefully stay healthy.
Yeah, we're rooting for that too. Now, as a goalie, obviously, when you have a knee injury, a lot of the training and work you want to do, you just can't do. So what were you focusing on while you were rehabbing your knee? Is it more the mental side of the game, maybe your hand-eye coordination? What kind of things were taking the forefront then?
Well, I'd say like at the start, obviously we weren't touching too much at my knee, just kind of let it heal a bit. So you try to do a bit of upper body, try to keep your cardio, even though you only have one leg pretty much. But we're doing a lot of stuff, let's say with a rower or stuff like that, to keep my cardio up. But yeah, hand-eye, I told, like, they did a great job with me. Well, I went up in Ottawa and in Belleville, like, when they were on the road. So both in Ottawa and Belleville, whenever I was there, they did a great job doing the rehab with me. But we kept doing hand-eye to keep that sharp, and so I don't lose it, especially with not receiving any shots for 2 months.
Go ahead.
But it was a lot of, it was at the start, it was a lot of hand-eye and cardio, and at the end we were just trying to reinforce the knee and making it stronger than it was. So obviously it doesn't happen again, right? But no, now it's all over with, and I'm happy that I can play. And but yeah, it was definitely a lengthy rehab.
Yeah, and I mean, it must be tough too, because you had come back up from a little stint in Atlanta, and I want to ask you about that. But you had just won 5 straight starts. Like, you must have been feeling pretty good out there. I think you had a 19 save, only 1 goal allowed in the game that you had to leave after 2 periods. Now, I see that you played exactly 40 minutes. Did you battle through that end of the second period? How did the injury happen too?
So yeah, it was a weird play. I remember it was a 5-on-3, and they were just passing behind the net, and I was on my feet. And after a few passes, the guy tried to like come and wrap it, and his blade kind of got stuck between, like, my skate holder and the post. So I kind of lost my balance because I was expecting obviously my skate to hit the post. So I lost my balance, and my left knee kind of just stood up, like stayed up, and my whole body went down, and I just heard it pop, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just like a little crack. You know, sometimes you just crack your ankle, crack your knee, crack something. It's like, you know what? Probably just a crack. So got back up, and I was like, oh, something feels a bit weird, but like, I'll just keep playing. Obviously, there's nothing I can do, right? And they came back and they shot, and I went down, and I was like, oh, like, something's not feeling right.
Yeah.
And like, but like every second it'd just be worse and worse and worse. I was like, okay. Like, I tried to get up, and I wasn't able to. So I was like, okay, something's up. And like every like I said, every second was getting worse. So I knew something was wrong, and I couldn't get up. So I was like, okay, I have to finish the period. Like, there's a 5-on-3 going on, like 5-on-4. There's like 2 minutes left. I can't just like give up, right? So, but I think I was also high on adrenaline too, so that didn't make it seem as bad. But the moment I just sat down, and the next day I was like, oh my god, this hurts.
Yeah, you can tell it's just different, and especially when a bigger guy like yourself putting that pressure and putting that weight on your knee when it's not exactly where it needs to be is going to be damaging. So it's good you were able to locate it.
Especially on the 5-on-3 and 5-on-4, like, you have to move so much. It's just crazy. So, but yeah, I was just happy that the period ended.
So what exactly was the diagnosis? Was it like an MCL thing, an ACL thing? What was kind of the final conclusion?
It was like a MCL, my MCL was partially tore.
Okay.
So I think there's like 3 grades of like MCL sprain or whatnot. It's like, grade 1 is just like a big stretch. Second one is like a tear, but not completely tear, and grade 3 is completely tore. So.
And then grade 4 is what Crooker had. We just said his knee was blown up, is what we called it.
I think Crooker had everything going on. Like, every like ligament, meniscus he had was just gone. Like, he just needed a brand new knee. Like, it's crazy.
He's gonna have a bounce back year though, eh?
What?
He's gonna have a bounce back year though.
Oh, he's gonna come back like better than ever. Like, that guy, I hate playing like practice games or just like some few games around the net with him, because he's so like, he never gives up. He's such a competitor. Like, but we had and I remember we had because at the end of the year he could skate, right? Like, he was able to practice a bit, and we did some games, and I was like, man, I remember why I hated like practicing against you. Like, he never gives up, right? He's such a competitor, and after that he just throws the chirps. And but no, it's fun to play against him. But he's definitely gonna bounce back for sure. I felt so bad too. Like, it happened in a preseason game. Like, just you don't want to see that. It's just
No.
especially to a guy like that. Like he's such a good guy, and we have so much fun with him. So it was just shitty. It's always shitty to see a guy like get injured, but an injury like that in preseason just
And
just
in like a community rink, they were playing.
Yeah.
You were at the game, weren't you?
Yeah, I was playing that game. Yeah, I don't know if it was in the third or in the first, but yeah, it was just hard to see that. It was like in Brassard where the Habs practice.
Yeah, it was a practice facility. That's it.
Yeah.
Tough.
So yeah.
On like a static camera, one angle, you're like, no, Crooker, come on.
I remember that game was so like badly organized. Like we didn't. There's like no TV timeouts, no music, no fans, no nothing. I was
Weird.
Like, this even minor hockey league we had music. You know, it was just it was different.
Speaking of practice, we need your take. I hope that you were there for this. Casti versus Socko. Were you there when they dropped them?
Yeah, I was there. It was two big boys. I've never, you know that I spent a lot of time with Socko, and I never saw him fight. So it's just like he gets mad easily. So like not easily. It's just like he's a competitor, right? So like it's just like he's on the ice. He wants the puck. You know, like he wants to win his battle. So I don't know what was said, but I don't know. It's just two guys playing hockey and battling for position, and so I don't know who would have won, but just the fact that Cassie fought before, maybe I would give him the edge. But yeah, that was just crazy. I was like, it was the first time I saw like Socko that mad. So I was like, okay, those are two big boys.
Igor told us it was a stinky practice. I guess you guys weren't playing well at the time, so it was a lot of battle drills, and he said they just had enough.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
They were battling in every way possible. So.
Yep.
That's awesome. Hey, we were talking about Casti the other day. Do you know that he and Parker Kelly fought in junior?
Did they?
Yeah, man.
No way.
It probably won't surprise you when I say that it started with Parker going for a little bit of a late finish to a hit.
Cal's doesn't back down from anyone, so I'm not surprised. But I didn't know that.
Yeah, check it. It's on Hockey Fights.
Look at the clip after.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it. And he hangs in there. Yeah. And then Casti's like, wait, I'm 8 inches bigger than you. I'll just finish the job here.
He's bigger and heavier, so I'm not surprised on that one. But that's so funny. I've never they never spoke of it in the room or on the bus and all that. Not that I heard of, but
because I was looking up if they fought. Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll send it your way, and everyone listening, you can check it out at hockeyfights.com. Great resource there. You ever been in a fight, whether it's in junior or anywhere?
Not really. Actually, I had a small one in Atlanta like this year, but it wasn't
perfect
really
lead into Atlanta.
It was like a small one. It's just because I don't know, we're losing. Like you know how the East Coast is, just grind it out. And like I got a stick behind the head, and I just got mad because like we were losing 4-1, and I was like, I just grabbed the first player I saw. And, like, he didn't let go of his glove, so I just kept my blocker. So I had him in a headlock with my glove, and I gave him a few uppercuts. But after that, I just lost the headlock, and I just fell forward. But that's pretty much it. But, no, I definitely – if the situation's right, I always told, like – I even told, like, Petey, I was like, if you give me the green light, I'm going for it.
Yeah,
right? Like,
nice.
And he would love it for sure. Like, he fought before, so but, yeah, obviously depending on the situation, but I wouldn't mind doing it, but
yeah, if I was a guy your size, I'd probably have a similar stance. Yeah. I mean, it's probably tough to find guys in your weight class that are willing combatants.
It's funny because even me and Matt talked about it. He's like, I would fight, but like it's just a lose-lose for me. Like I'm 6'7". Like if I beat him, he's like, oh, like obviously you're supposed to win, and if I lose, well, you're the guy that lost.
Yeah, true.
Right. So I understand his standpoint. So I'd have to take an opponent like a bit like my size, but
like the Charlotte Checkers goalie.
Yeah.
Number 35 there. Rip that pretty bucket off of him and just let him have it.
Oh. You know, like especially after the thing of what happened with Batherson and Dell, I was like, you know what? If that guy does something, I would go 100%. I don't care.
Nice,
if he's like 30
good.
Something. or I don't know how old he is, but I know
He's in
he's
his
been around
30s,
the
yeah.
league for a bit. I'd be
We
like,
beat him up online, couple ratios. That's all we can do to help.
Yeah.
We're obviously talking about Joey Dax there, good buddy of yours. Hey, you guys ran into each other in Europe?
Yeah, we did actually.
Wow.
That's funny. I'm assuming you guys were both just in the same area and noticed and planned to meet up. Tell us about your trip though as a whole, that situation. But where did you go this summer?
We flew into Paris, spent like a day and a half there. After that, we went to Nice, spent a few days there. Like that's where we met Dax, and after that, we made our way to Italy for like maybe like a week, and we did a few places. We did Cinque Terre, we did Milan, we did San Remo, and I think we went to Lake Como too. I think that's it.
Nice. Mads was saying you're one of the best dressed guys in the team. Were you there Fashion Week?
Mads?
Mads was saying that, man. He was
Mads
pumping your tires.
Yeah, he was.
Mads is always is getting along too. He's pretty well. I saw he sent me a few things this summer that he bought, and he's ordering more clothes. So he's getting up there too. But
Okay.
no, I just like fashion. I listen to Suits, like the series, and
Okay.
I've always liked their suits they have, and I'm like, you know what, like I want to have like nice suits, so I did a few custom ones, like just not like a black or gray or plain like color. I think I have like a dark olive, a brown, checkered blue, a bit like with the squares and all of that, and I have a light blue checkered with the like dark navy stripes too. So but yeah, I don't know, I would say I have a normal like style, but maybe he thinks it's good. But but yeah, to come back on the thing with Dax, like it's crazy. I was gone for like a month, I think, in Europe, and it just ended up that like he posted his story and he was like in Nice, and I was in Nice too, and I was like, how long are you there for? He's like, yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow. So I was like, okay, like come meet us there, and like we'll like talk and all that. And I think we stayed there for like an hour and just talked and talked and talked. But yeah, I haven't seen him in forever, but like we always keep in touch, and I was happy that he had an unreal year this year. So hopefully he can have a shot next year at staying the entire year in Seattle. That'd be unreal for him.
So this is fashion icon Kevin Mandolese right there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure he was talking about good style on that picture, but
that's great stuff for anyone listening. I think this is Halloween, right? I hope so.
Yeah, that was Halloween.
Nice. In Toronto?
Yeah, we played in Toronto, and after that we stayed the night and had a little Halloween party.
That's hilarious. Great spot for that too.
Nice.
I recognize those Cactus Club umbrellas anywhere. But that's all. Hey, we kind of skimmed over Atlanta, but on the way there, I opened up a Justin Peters page when you mentioned that he'd be all for it. 4 career fights for Justin Peters as well, including one against Jeff Glass, who Sens fans might remember. Former Sens draft pick. He was the starting goalie on the team where it was like, remember the lockout year? Maybe it was before your time, but you probably remember 2005 when it was the full lockout. Bergeron had already played a full year in the NHL. He was there. It was like Crosby, Carter, Richards, Seabrook, Key, Phaneuf, like one of the best teams all time. Anyways, and then their goalie's Jeff Glass, who didn't really play a whole lot in the NHL. But Atlanta, tell us about like the time there. Obviously, the partnership is over between the two teams, so nobody from the organization is going to be going back. But the East Coast, I mean, Dax told us about it when he was in Brampton. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like shinny hockey.
Yeah, especially for goalies. It's like, as a goalie, expect to get a lot of shots if you go on the East Coast, and
second and third shots as well. Those rebounds aren't getting cleared.
I don't mean talent level. I just mean in terms of structure. Like pucks are coming at you from everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Like it's weird bounces. Like I don't know, like what it is with that league, but like I think I was there for a total of 2 weeks, and like I had a lot of fun playing hockey there. Like the guys were great. I got a lot of shots, so I can't complain. Like that's what I wanted, especially because I came back from concussion. I was like, you know what, I just want to get like a lot of shots, and yeah, it's different. It's not as structured as the American League or the NHL, but it's definitely like for goalies. I think it's a great league for development. I think there's so many goalies that went through that league, and so for me, I just wanted to play, right. Like I know I was I was mostly like third goalie last year so I wasn't playing. So I kind of expected to go down, and just to see all the names that went there that ended up having like so much success in the NHL. I was like, you know what, like that's what it takes for me, like in my path, and just trying to make the best of it.
I love that attitude. Pilsy, how about this welcome to the ECHL moment? 39 saves, 2 goals against, and he loses.
Oh, damn.
Come on.
That was
you had your man.
That first stint I had was pretty hard because I was having good games, like except maybe that second one, but like all we did was score 1 goal per game, so it was like so hard to win.
You had 3 goals of support in your first 3 games, 1 per game.
Yeah. So it was hard to win, but like that's when it was so shitty. Like you saw, like I had good stats and all that, and all you see is like 0-3. I was like, oh, nice.
But you got one win. Come on.
Yeah, that was in the first 3 games though.
Right.
But yeah, I got 1 win. At least I can say I won in the East Coast.
There you go.
Yeah,
you can't take that away from you.
Yeah, nope.
and the thing, I think what you said rings true. Like for goalies, it's a good developmental league because you can't just assume your defensemen are going to be in the right spots. They're going to clear rebounds. They're going to clear guys from out front. So you need to be on your own 2 steps ahead of the play. So I think from that angle, it's a great spot for goalies. Now, I want to talk about, though, specifically being in Atlanta, because Atlanta they've tried to keep hockey there. 2 NHL franchises, the Flames and the Thrashers, went and gone, and it didn't work out. What was your vibe on kind of the city's reception to the Atlanta East Coast Hockey League team? Like, were fans into it? What was the kind of production good? Was it a good entertainment? How was all that in a city like that?
So like we weren't like downtown Atlanta. We're like maybe 40 minutes away, 35 minutes away, and like I was talking to guys about like how's the fans, like how's like the community and all that, and they're like, yeah, we're definitely more in a hockey community, so I guess that's why they put us out there. We played in a huge rink, like I don't know, it was like at least like
because
8,000 fans.
They're the Arizona ECHL team, and their stadium's bigger than
ASU.
Yeah, 100%, way bigger. And that's actually funny.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
It's a sad fact. Yeah. But like we had games where we had actually the teddy bear toss game when I was there. And like it was actually pretty full, and it was loud. Like they go nuts. Like they actually like it's crazy. Like I've never seen that even in junior. Like where I played junior, it was a older community, right? But we had like 5,000 people in junior when it was sold out, and it was loud. But that like it wasn't even sold out, and it was just crazy. A lot of kids there. So, but no, I think the fans were receptive to it. I think it's just an organization standpoint. It's like the rink wasn't at the team didn't have the rink, right? So like in playoffs, they had home ice advantage, and they played the first 4 games on the road.
Oh no!
So it's hard to like have a successful team when stuff like that happens, right? Like they were in Jacksonville for the first 4 games, and like no matter where you're at, like no matter what fan base you have, like being at home and playing at home in front of your fans is just different. And So starting the first 4 games on the road is hard to win, like playoffs when stuff like that happens, right? So I don't think it's a fan. Like the fans were great for the time I was there. I think they're pretty receptive, but it's just also Atlanta, right? Like there's a huge like NBA like base and baseball,
The
The
football
NFL
team
too,
too. Yeah.
football, right? So like it's hard to put like obviously like New York and Toronto has like, except maybe for NFL they don't have it, but like
Right.
there's some cities that can do that, right? But I just don't feel Atlanta is like big enough, or hockey's big enough for them to make all those like sports survive. So
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's actually the population. I was just looking up. It's a little bit less than I thought. It's not as I thought it was going to be right up there in size with the Chicago's and New York's, LA's. It's a little bit smaller. So, anyways, there's your southeastern U.S. geography lesson. I got a couple more for you before we go, Mando. Really appreciate you coming on, man. We're obviously a goalie friendly show. We need to know what the set's going to look like going into next season.
well, that's for now. I didn't have like a chance really to play with my last set, so I'll start the year with the same design, but I'll definitely change during the year. But that'll be, I still don't know what it'll definitely be a custom one. So we'll have to see for that. Maybe throw in a few surprises here and there, but I definitely want to do something like that's gonna stand out, and that's gonna be pretty sick. Now that, not that like sadly Gus has gone, but now I can put more red, because I couldn't put all red when Gus had it. I couldn't do that to Gus, right?
That's fair. So wait, I'm pulling this up right now. Is this what you're starting next year with, or is this an older one?
That's an older one. I'm starting the one. I literally played maybe 2 games with them, and it was like, maybe if you're able to look up a picture of against Providence when I got injured, but it's more colors that, like, there's more black, I guess, but yeah, it's a custom design, and I'll probably start the first half with that, unless I get excited and I want to make a new design.
Nice. I actually loved your helmet last year too. It just had this, like, I think it was like the chrome or whatever. Is it something different that you do with the color on it? Because I feel like it pops more than most masks.
Yeah, well, I can agree with you guys. Like that's my like favorite mask I had so
It's
far.
so
I think,
nice.
like, I just put a shiny coat on it. That's it. Like
Cool.
It's as simple as that. Because I used to do matte, and like I was like, I don't know. I think I'm tired of having like a matte finish. So I was talking to my equipment manager actually, and Matty is his name, and Matty was like, go with shiny. Like it's also like easier to like get pucks. I was like, you know what? Like why not? I never had shiny, because even in junior I had matte. So I was like, you know what? Let's change it a bit. So no, but I agree with you guys. I love that helmet, and there's one thing I love about that mask is I started looking at Vasilevsky's mask, and I love the lightning that he has. Yep. So I was like, you know what? Try to like. I just told my mask artist, I was like, try to put like the third logo, like not the third logo, but like the buildings and like the water, like kind of tower of Belleville,
Peace Tower.
That. Put that
for Belleville,
right, mix it into a storm or something like that.
Okay.
With red lightning, and he did an unreal job, and that's by far my favorite mask.
Well, is it making a second appearance, or are you switching it up?
We're probably gonna do an updated version of it.
Cool.
Yeah. Keep the finish though, man.
Yeah. 100%. I'm definitely keeping that finish, like for sure. Like unless I change, like unless I get tired of it, but I don't think I'll get tired of it. I'm probably gonna stick with that for the rest of my career. Like.
Now, is mask design and goalie setup art and style, is that something you've always been interested in? And if so, like who, as a young goalie growing up, who are some of the like your favorite mask design, or even like pads and glove and blocker and stuff? Who did you really idolize that way?
Well, like I've never really looked at masks. It was always pads for me. Like I feel like earlier, like let's say in the earlier years. Let's say when I was like, I don't know, 10 to like 15, it was pretty much like just lines, right? And like today you can just put anything, which is fun. Like there's always like colorways that are always nice. Like I always liked Fleury's like blue pads when he was at the Winter Classics. He always made like great like setups with that. But no, I've always been a light pad kind of guy, like since maybe like I was 16, 17, and whenever I turned like 17, I was like, you know what, I like the solid color pads or more colored pads, and that's why like at my 18-year-old year I kind of put like a claw design in my pads in juniors. And after that, my 19-year-old year, I just did a Fleury vintage throwback with those cohos.
The yellow like cohos.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice.
Sick.
After that, I kind of my first year pro, I don't know, like I didn't like the design that the pad that I had, like the design didn't let me do a nice like solid color pad, so I just kept it basic. And last year I was like, okay, now it's time to make like nice design. So I decided to put more colors and do a custom design and actually put like lines and nicer stuff. But I think maybe on the next one I'll put like more stuff like I don't know, maybe a water tower. Who knows? But like just. Yeah, try to put more stuff like that, like a print more than just lines, right? So
Yeah.
maybe to add that on, but I need to think about it.
Well, funny because I remember the last time we spoke with you, you said one of your favorite goalies growing up was Jean-Sébastien Giguère, and he always had like the Coho 580s. Those are so sick, and the colors look so good with the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Oh, those. So, Giguère is actually like my best friend's uncle. So, at his house when I was a kid, they had like a framed picture of him, like those like lock screen like wallpapers almost.
Yep.
And they kind of had that in the Mighty Ducks like jersey with those pads. And I swear that's like the nastiest setup I've ever seen.
It's so good.
It's insane. I was like, I wish I could like bring back an updated version of like that like model and like just make it in a pad today, you know?
No doubt. You know what else would look cool? And I mean, bringing back to the Sens, Patrick Laleem's old Sherwood pads with like the squiggle in it. Yeah. I know it's still lines, but those look so good. He even had the custom stick. He had Marvin the Martian on his stick too. It was super cool. I got to pull this up because we're talking Jean-Sébastien Giguère. I think he was the last losing team player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a more upset person winning playoff MVP? Yeah, I mean, you understand why, but that's crazy.
I know. I forget if I was talking to him or his sister, because obviously like his sister's my friend's mom, and he was telling me, or she was telling me, like he didn't even want to go out and grab it, but he had to, and he didn't even want to go out and take that picture, but like I feel like it's just like at that point you don't even care of winning it. You're just like, I lost like a series for like the Stanley Cup, and now I have to go out and take a picture when everyone's just pissed and sad and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
But
you even hear guys like McKinnon be like, yeah, I didn't even want to go get the Conn Smythe. Like I want the cup. Yeah. And then it's like, he's on the winning team. I can't even imagine going and on the losing team.
It's like accepting an individual silver medal. Like no one wants to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, guys are more happy to win like a bronze medal because they actually won the game than to win a silver medal, right? But 100%. No, I think after the year after, I think they won the cup that year, or in 2000. I think.
A couple years later, and it was against Ottawa. So way to go, sick, dude. Thanks. Thanks. Ruined my
way to bring that one up, man.
Yeah, ruined my life when I was 14 years old, man. Thanks.
They'll win one soon, though. Like they put the piece in place, and no, Pierre Dorion definitely had a huge summer for that one.
No doubt. I want to finish off. We both want to ask you about a couple of the players that you get to see shoot on you all the time, but I do have to pull this up. And this is the beauty about recording on here. We can have conversation about things. How do you like that stick? Could you bring in something like that?
Yeah, that stick is awesome.
To be honest, like today we could probably do anything. We could probably do that. Yeah, but I love his helmet.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you seen the Twitter account? Our boy, it's at Laleem's Marsh, and he loves it.
Yeah, I did see that, actually.
That's awesome. He's even got his name on his stick. See, it says Laleem right above the tape. I love that, just in case you forget.
Yeah, in case someone mixes it up.
Yeah, with that other Marvin the Martian stick. But that's awesome.
Imagine playing with those pads today. Like, I could not do it.
Pillows.
I wish I could find a photo. I'm not going to go through it, but he put it on the first hole every time. You would look and in warm up, and they would be like turning side to side. Like it was barely tied onto his legs.
That's crazy.
We need to have him on the show.
Yeah, especially today. I feel goalies want their pad like sticking to their legs.
Oh, when I played, I had it fully tightened, like all the way tightened. Yeah. So the guys that play with it barely hanging on, that's wild to me.
It's like Mads had so he started the year with like one strap, I think, and he barely put it tight. He put it, I think, at the like third or second hole, and I was like,
yeah.
Why bother put that strap there?
Honestly,
I'm not gonna use it. It's like, you know what? It kind of like supports the back of my knee, so I kind of like it. And now, like after like half the season, like he was halfway through the season, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going all Velcro now. There we go.
Yeah, at that point, you should just put on like the road hockey pads with just a clip.
Yeah,
at that point, and just loosen it all up.
Yeah, literally.
No doubt. Hey, I gotta ask you this because you were drafted in 2018. Did you pick up anything from Craig Anderson? Because you would have had a couple training camps with him.
I think I had 2 training camps with him. I think
he's old school, eh? Like kind of stand up.
He's old school, but man, he reads the play. Like, he reads the game and all the plays going on so well. Like that made him like such an incredible goalie, and I think that's why he's still able to play in the league at that age. Like he re-signed too. Like either like still especially going. With the game today, like how fast it is, and the players, their skills, their shot, and like their IQ, like that's like crazy. But he's definitely old school, but he's a smart goalie. Like that's
so when you're picking up, like when you're in practice with him, are you like kind of trying to gauge how he's seeing the play develop?
It's hard because it's all like inside, right? Like he's
of course
like obviously like a technique, you can see it more, but it's just like making reads in your own head, so it's hard to pick up from that. But no, it's just you just learn from like I learned a lot from Andy just looking at him off the ice, like kind of how he takes care of his body and all that, because obviously he has to take care of his body when. You're playing at 40. I think he's 41 now.
Yeah, I think he'll turn 42 during next season.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be really good at taking care of your body when you're at that age, and because goalies, you guys would know, like hips and knees and all that, they're just gone. Like soon they're tight. They get used a lot, right? So, no, I picked up a lot from him just off the ice.
It's awesome.
Well, I mean, when you're a stand-up goalie, you're using your hips and knees a whole lot less, so maybe that's the secret to the longevity, right?
Maybe we're onto something here.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Mando, final question for me. Thanks so much for giving us so much of your time. We love having goalies on the show. Goalie-friendly show. It's always great to chat with attendees. So, in that vein, who is Belleville's best shooter? I have a feeling I know the answer, but there's a couple guys that maybe might surprise me. But in your opinion, who's the best shooter right now?
Like from last year?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like there's a lot of guys that has like great shots. Like I can like at the top of my head, we had like Chris Wilkie, we had Matt Whitman, we had Igor, obviously, we had Logan Shaw, we had Roby, we had Lassie. I also have like guys that have hard release to read off from, so like just Cassie he has a hard shot, but just also his release makes it that much harder to read. But if I had to pick one, Man, it's hard.
A lot of good shooters. Yeah.
That's good. Good problem to have.
Yeah.
But
And how about Jake Lucchini in the shootout? This guy's automatic in the shootout.
That guy, yeah. Especially last year, like at the start of the year, I swear if it wasn't from him, there's a lot of like I don't think there was like our record wouldn't have been the same. But yeah, I forget in practice like in shootouts because we don't really practice shootouts, right? Like it's more like at the end of practice when we do extra time, like maybe we'll do like shootouts or maybe we'll just do 2 pucks. So it's not the same thing as a shootout, but it's for him to be that good in shootouts, like with all the pressure, like that's just crazy, and he definitely helped us. But to come back for the hardest shot, like it's hard to pick one, but I'd say Shazi.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, captain, veteran.
Like he, like especially in practice, like he picks a spot, man, and anywhere. Like, and it's also for me, it's harder because the guy like Igor, I've practiced with him for 4 years, so I kind of know his spots now.
Yep.
And he still scores, obviously, but it's just I maybe like I can like predict more and all that.
Yeah, you got to read on
like,
him. You got the game notes
everywhere.
You're not doing Gerard a favor with this one?
No.
What a beauty he is, eh? He came on our show too, Gerard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was right after they drafted Igor, and we were trying to get to know him, and then we knew the connection with you as well. He was awesome, man.
No, they're Cape Brenners. They're nice people, man.
Yeah,
they're great guys, and but yeah, I didn't know he came on the show. That's fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
he came down and actually made an interview with the team because I think, oh man, I forget for what. But yeah, he came down this year, and I didn't expect it, and I don't think Shazi told me, but so when I saw him, I was all surprised. I think I was injured, so I just said hi to him and talked for a bit. But no, it was fun seeing him.
Salt of the earth up there. Okay, final question for me. You get 10 breakaways on this goalie. How many are you scoring?
Oh God.
Wait, but does Mando have to wear his goalie equipment too?
No. Mando's tracksuit.
Okay.
Man, I don't even I probably don't even have a hard shot with a player stick. I'll say 5.
Oh, nice split right 50%. Down the middle.
Yeah, I'll say 5.
Smart move.
Yeah, you don't want to get on the captain's bad side, eh?
No, can't do that to Chucky.
That's awesome.
So.
Actually, actual final question. You did get a couple chances to go up to Ottawa and back up. What was the experience like being around the room? All we hear about is how great the culture is around the team.
Yeah, well, I think they all the Shabby, all those guys like that, especially like in the when they had the taxes going and all that. Like even Chucky, even though when he was obviously he's a younger player, right? And he was including everyone. And I've never even the veterans I remember Coburn and all that. Man, I forget all the names. They're all so good to me. They always they don't make you feel like you're just some other guy. They're talking to you. They're saying hi, how are you, how's your day? Just just in casual talk every day. And even last year when I was injured going up, same thing. They were just all super nice. I think that'll go a long way too. Whenever they try to go win the cup, right? If you have a good chemistry and a good locker room, that goes a long way. And even also when Maz got called up, obviously we talked a lot, and he was saying how all the guys was super nice to him and all that. So, but yeah, that'll go a long way, and I'm not worried one bit about the locker room they have in Ottawa.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to see you in it more consistently, and it all starts with rookie camp, which you'll be seeing you at in less than 2 weeks. Let's go. Yeah. It's almost go time. Great to hear you had an awesome summer. Great to hear you're 100% healthy, and we can't wait to see you on the ice, Mando. Really appreciate you jumping on, and it's not going to be 2 years before we get you back. We're going to have you on a lot sooner than that, man. Great chatting with you, and thanks again.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I always appreciate it, and we always have some fun.
Stick taps to Kevin for joining us. Fantastic conversation. And Pills, you know it's a good interview when you stay on the call for another half hour after, just shooting the breeze, having a good time. But I'm excited for a healthy Mando to come in and show his worth in the AHL and maybe beyond this upcoming season.
Yeah, we're stoked for Mando's season coming up. And it is good that Ottawa did figure out an ECHL team. Obviously, we hope Mando can be backing up in Belleville, but it gives the option with Anton Bibeau coming in that there is a spot for a third goalie to have a starting job. And interesting to note, Bibeau was a member of the Allen Americans last season, so he's already familiar with them. They're familiar with him. So that can be an easy transition if Mando does, in fact, win that job in Belleville, which we're hoping for, because he needs to play some games, and I think he's ready for the AHL. And him and Sogard as a goalie tandem, those are two big tendies, and they both are great buddies, and they can push each other to do better as well. I think that's huge. And yeah, it was great chatting with Mando after. Ross, we were like, oh, you don't need to stick around. I'm sure you're busy. He's like, nah, I got nothing to do. Like, let's just chat for a bit. And we ended up definitely chit-chatting with him for a long time.
He mentioned us as well. He allowed us to break the news. People thought the streets were rumbling, but it was just Mando letting us know that Matt Sogard was at the BioSteel camp. Like, the lineup that those guys have is unreal. It can only help. Like McKinnon, Makar,
McDavid was there.
McDavid. Bedard even gets the call up there.
Yeah, wow.
Drake Batherson was there. So they've got some serious talent there at the BioSteel camp. Shout out Connor Brown was there as well. Always going to be a guy. He's going to get a solid ovation, when he comes back to Ottawa. Connor Brown.
Big time. Yeah. We miss Connor Brown, that's for sure.
Third? Second? That might be the second game of the year.
It's not a home game. They play... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, it is the second home game. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it's the second home game after the home opener, which we are working to get the tickets out as soon as possible. Yes, game 2 of the regular season at home. Connor Brown will not have to wait long to face his former mates. Last note, we'll say, the streets are rumbling.
Ooh.
Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle on their way to Ottawa. So... it's just even more exciting. I mean, we already said Alex DeBrinket's taken more photos than Brad Pitt in the last 2 weeks with all the fans going out to Sensplex. But it's great. It just means it's exciting. Hockey's here. These guys know they're in a hockey town, and the excitement is palpable in this market. So anyone who's going down to Sensplex, make sure you're tagging us at Sens Central in all the videos and photos that you guys are putting up. Yep. So Pilsy tier 2 tomorrow. Then we've got a Sens Central citizen on Wednesday. And on Wednesday's show, can I tease Friday's guest?
I'll allow it.
All right. Stay tuned for all that. But for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.